Last week I went busking in Southport and I met up with the guy who inspired me to go busking in the first place. Augustradioproject. It's been cool, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate it so much. Big up Southport.
We dive into all things busking, and Ben, or ARP, or August Radio Project, shares his story.
Damn, man, like, it's not easy, but it will be the greatest thing you ever do when you do just go for it.
But before we dive into the interview, let's see how me and Ben got on taking our music to the streets of Southport.
All the small things, truth care, truth bring, salty, one lift, 'cause you ride, best trip, no ways, I know you'll be at my show, watching, waiting, commiserating. Well, say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Na 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 na
At the end of the video, I'll score Southport as a place to busk. So if you want to know what it's actually like to busk there, stick around to the end. It's been a while since I've actually played music with other people, so I was a bit nervous, to be honest. And we hadn't rehearsed anything. We just decided to give it a go and see what happened. But one thing I was looking forward to was singing harmonies, because I love that and I don't get to do it all the time. So that was fun.
Mamma mia, here I go again. Mama, how can I resist you? Mamma mia, and do you really know why I am? Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off, carry me home. Keep you in still, I'll be your thrill, and I'll go.
We kind of took it in turns. He'd do a song and I'd jump on supporting it. I'd do a song and he'd jump on supporting it. Here's one of my favourite songs to cover. We Are the Champions. What a tune.
I consider it a challenge for the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. Need to go on and on and on and on. We are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting to the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
Now, I'm not trying to fanboy too hard here, but Ben is basically the master of busking. He's done it however many thousands of times. And I'm still on Busk 25, so I am a mere apprentice. And I sort of thrown myself in the deep end here. I'm here with a guy who does it all the time. And I was really curious to see if I could hang. Can I hang with these guys? Can I do it at this level after only 3 months of busking?
We are the champions, my friend. And we'll keep on fighting to the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
That's sick.
Thanks, guys.
That's sick. That's so cool.
It's a really easy one to do, to get your head around it. It sounds more impressive, I think.
I mean, I'll have to give it a go. You've got like, you're a pro, like you've got the epicness to your voice.
Oh, thank you. Hey, thank you. That's dead kind.
It was very cool to get this sort of recognition. It felt awesome. And this is only the beginning. This is Busk 25. What are we going to be doing when it's Busk 250? Who knows? As I was there with Ben, I know he's got a strong audience who really love what he does. So I decided to film one of his songs with no cuts but also try and get in a bit of the street and a bit of the environment so you can see what it's actually like out there, you know? So, without further ado, this is August Radio Project's Bucket List.
No places to go, no places to find peace and quiet. No, you should live in a van, take a flight out, escape the riots. Yeah, when a factory becomes a home, and inside the machine there's all that you know. You'll be spending your savings, riding your buggy list. Now a universe from nothing inside my mind, it is on fire. No message from me that is a feeling what do deeply desire. When a factory becomes a home, and inside the machine is all that you know. They'll tell you what you need to hold, where you fall in line instead of taking the time. You'll be spending your savings, riding your buggy lift. Where did life go when red becomes air? This is going to hurt, you know. Hey, you're a millionaire. You're reaching the number of times you've said that it's for real. Now you're really going to go. Hit you and right back out and riding your buggy lift. Oh, hey, na 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 na, yeah. No. Oh. This country is not my home. Inside the machine, it's just not for me. Not spending my savings, cause I don't have any. There's too many places to go. So I'll be spending all my time living out my buggy lift.
So we sat down, Ben interviewed me, and I interviewed Ben. When I came to edit this, it was actually quite hard because I didn't really want to get rid of anything. And I know the ARP fans really want to hear everything he's got to say, so I've left everything in. This is the whole interview with ARP. Enjoy.
So, obviously, you were a big inspiration for me starting Busking. Like, your videos were... Well, one of the things was, man, you probably I might not have heard this, but it made it just look so fun, right? And I was like, that looks like a cool game. I want to go and play it.
That's cool.
So, what was the turning point that made you decide to take your music to the streets? Like, when did that happen, and what happened?
My turning point wasn't a intentional or conscious decision as such. So what happened for me, like a real brief history of my journey, busking wise. The very first time I ever went busking, I was like 14. I was like a kid. Me and some friends went, and then never really thought anything of it. You know, we just went. I remember we went busking in Cambridge, and we got given a pack of Malwam sweets, and we thought it was like the best thing ever. And then when I was in my old band, we quite often busk, but again, I never thought of it as busking. I never really thought about it as anything But we used to do it to promote shows. So we'd go to like Canterbury, say, and we'd be playing in the Penny Theatre, and we'd make a sign, tonight at the Penny Theatre, and then we'd sit on the street for an hour or two and play. But never considered it as anything else.
People passing by, they were stopping and say, oh my, a little corner for a play, yeah. Go on, Johnny, go, go. Go on, Johnny, go, go. Go on, Johnny, go, go. Woo! Oh yeah. Johnny be good, yeah.
And then fast forward to 2021, I just moved to Brighton. I just started the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, and all I knew in that moment was like, I had one big goal in mind. I'd started off as ARP, and my big number one goal as ARP was to make a living doing it. Like this musician, creative person, make a living doing that. And when I first moved to Brighton, I kept seeing all these buskers on the street. And I kept thinking, I should have a go at that at some point. And at the time I was making my weekly videos. I just started. I was about 2 or 3 months into weekly videos. And I had this idea of like, well, maybe I should make a video where like I go busking. Because at the time I was making videos of just like various musical challenges. So I was making some like videos about songwriting. I was making videos where like I asked strangers for lyric ideas, and then I made like a video, I made a song out of their lyric ideas, things like this. And then there was just this one-off video where I was like, I'll go busking. And in my head, it was just a one-off thing. I wasn't intending to keep it going, anything like that. And I went down to Brighton seafront and I went busking for an hour, and I made like £15 in donations. Also, I had a gig like 2 weeks like in the future of this day, and I was like, in this moment when I filmed this video, I was like, oh my god, if I bust, like at the time I didn't have a job, like I was very much in a very like a pickle of how I was going to make all of these things work. I was like, I could busk, it would earn me some money, and I'm going to be, if I do it every day between now and this gig, by the time the gig rolls around, I'm going to be rad. I'm going to be so good at this gig. Like, yeah. It was like a 30-minute slot at this festival. And I was like, you know, if I just practice this 30 minutes and busk. So I did that, and I played the gig, and like, at the gig, I was really solid. I was like, holy moly, this is like a really good way of becoming good. But still, even then, I hadn't thought, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna keep doing this. I just thought like, I'll just do this whilst I figure the rest of my life out.
Well, maybe someday it's never be a light saying, Johnny be good tonight, yeah. Go on, Johnny, go, go. Go on, Johnny, go, go. Go on, Johnny, go, go. Woo! Oh, yeah. Johnny be good.
So I do it for a couple of months, just keep going to Brighton seafront, you know, earning a bit of donations here and there, but not really thinking much of it. And then one day I had this like meltdown to my partner, where things were getting like a bit hairy in my like personal life, because, you know, I didn't have a proper job and I didn't know how I was going to make this work, and I didn't want to go back to my old life, and I was scared, and I to the point I was considering signing up to Deliveroo. That was like what I was. And I remember talking to her, and she turned to me and went, why don't you just busk more? Why don't you just take it a bit more seriously? And it was like the answer had been there in front of me the entire time.
Yeah.
How can I put it? You putting me on. I even fell for the stupid love song. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, how come I never hear you say, I just wanna be with you? I guess I never felt that way. But since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. Still moving on, yeah.
that's that was like the turning point there, because then I was like, okay, let's take it seriously. And I started talking to other buskers, and then the kind of universe stepped in, because that's when I met my friend Joa, who runs Brighton Beach Busking, and he asked me to do a bunch of interviews with the local buskers in Brighton. And it was during those interviews that I was interviewing the buskers for his channel, but I was also interviewing the buskers for my own sake. And I started asking them, like, so do you do this full time? And the amount of them that just said yeah, like it was really casual, like it was just a normal thing. I was like, you've asked full time? And they're like, yeah. Like I was asking them, like, are you a chef? Yeah. Like, okay, so this is a full time. And then I'm like, how does it work? And that's when they kind of delivered the secret sauce. And that's when it clicked for me and YouTube. And I was like, why don't more people know about this? Because it's, and not just on a financial and like a way to make a living, but like also just all of the things you get out of it. You know, like I got those series of interviews because I've shown up busking. The amount of gigs I don't think I've ever asked, as ARP, I don't think I've ever asked anyone for a gig. They've all come to me more often than not as a direct result of busking.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And then just all of the magic moments that have come out of it, all of the way it's helped me bloom as a person, like the confidence, social anxiety, things like this, like just go away, because it teaches you so much about yourself and what's possible. And it also teaches you sort of like the kindness of people. It teaches you about how much people appreciate music. It teaches you how much people appreciate good energy as well. Just being around somebody that's like having a good time, and what that does to other people's spirits, you know. So then, you know, like all of those things slowly clicking into place, and I suddenly felt like I owed it to every other musician out there that might be curious to share this, you know, because I just think like even your story, like there's so much to get out of it, and I don't think that there is many places you could find out how good of a thing it actually is. So that's why, you know, this has happened, and this is where I find myself today.
Southport, sat at a bandstand.
Yeah, talking busking and with our trolleys and musical equipment.
Shut your mouth, you just can't take it. Again, 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 again. Well, since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. Still moving on, yeah. Thanks to you, now I can. You should know that I can't get what I want. Since you've been gone, since you've been gone, since you've been gone.
I get quite bad gig nerves, like, and at the beginning of busking, I got I was so terrified, like, and I think like busking is so amazing for anyone who plays music. You should absolutely do it, but there is a massive barrier to it, which is just fear, right? So part of what I want my channel to be is to just equip people to get over that first step. Take that first step, and then you're just running before you know it. You're 25 busks in, and you're 10,000 busks in, or whatever it is. But making that first step, it will literally stop people doing it. Some people will never do it because of that, right? So I wanted to ask you, like, you've talked a bit in the past about feeling anxious before busks, at the beginning of busks.
Every time.
Yeah, well, this is it.
Pretty much.
You have like a polished product now, so I don't know if it necessarily comes across all the time.
for sure.
But I think people realizing that people who do it often, like us, still feel like that.
You feel the nerves every time. Yeah, I think the overcoming the fear is actually another great lesson busking has, and gigging, and anything in life that makes you feel those kind of nerves, the good nerves, you know, is what I'd call them. It's an anxiety that's like a barrier between something that you actually kind of want to do and you. The trouble is there's no easy solution to it, because the solution is like you feel those things but you do it anyway. And I think that the thing is like in the book I've written, like the first chapter is all about there's the Mark Twain quote is, if you had to eat a frog every day, you'd do it first thing in the morning. Have you ever heard that quote before?
No, I haven't.
So he's like,
yeah.
you know, but the metaphor here is like, if you have something difficult to do it as soon as possible. And this is what I think with your first time busking is so important. Don't overthink that first time. Like the first time you ever go busking, it's gonna feel really nerve-wracking. It's gonna feel fear, unless you're like Terminator and you don't care. But for most people, it's gonna be this like huge obstacle that feels like you're never gonna overcome it. And that's why you just have to go. On that first busk, you have to just go, and you're gonna feel all those emotions, and you're gonna feel horrible, and it's gonna be scary. But even if you break it down into like I'm gonna go for 20 minutes, I'm gonna go somewhere really quiet. Even if you went here on this bandstand where there's no one around, like what it will do is you will eat that metaphorical frog. That biggest fear you will ever feel will have done. You'll have got it over with. And then every busk from then on, every gig from then on, you feel the same fear, but because you've already overcome it once, in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I know I've done it once, so I can do it again. And you do. And then each time it gets a little bit easier, that even though you're feeling the fear, the repetition of overcoming it has happened so many times that you just overcome it. And what you end up doing is like that fear and that anxiety you feel, you know it's just part of the experience. So you don't listen to it. It's there, it's in your mind, you don't listen to it. And you almost, there's a part of me now, you know, having done this, I mean, gig-wise, like I've been gigging for like 20 years in my life, and still like before a gig, before a show, there's like that feeling of like, oh, am I really doing this? And then there's like, you know, physical symptoms, like you shake, you get sweaty, there's those like feeling that time's like dilating and not really like behaving how it should. And you feel all those things, but the weird thing is like there's this, because you know on the other side of it is something that you love so much that feels so good to do, you actually start to anticipate those things and you kind of like it. Do you know what I mean? Like you, and I think that there's ways to, you know, there's obviously all the really like obvious physical things, like you can do breathing exercises, you can just sort of like come back to your breath and come back to the moment. But I think that what inevitably will happen for each individual person is you find a way to cope with the feeling and learn to accept that it's just going to be there. And like I said, the greatest things in life are often fear first and then some kind of ecstatic, incredible feeling. And busking isn't an exception to that. It's like you know what lies on the other side of it, so you just start to become okay with the fact that you're going to feel those things, and you get on with it. And and I think that actually on the other side of these things like busking and gigging, I think the reason they feel so good is because you did have to overcome something in order to do it.
I won't let you bury it. I won't let you smother it. I won't let you matter it. 'Cause our time is running out, and our time is running out. You can push it underground, you can stop it screaming out.
One of the reasons it's such a profoundly good thing to do is that you're gonna come across that obstacle of fear with a reward on the other side of it in your life. Like, you can't avoid that.
For so many things.
That job interview, that job you really want to get, or
asking someone on a date.
Yeah, exactly.
Things
or
like this.
having kids. The first kids is like, what are you talking about? So like, repeatedly practicing, going, I'm okay with being scared. Is like is a really, really important thing to practice.
That's actually like, and I say this in the book I've written, that's one of the lessons busking teaches you, which is so valuable for the rest of your life, because busking allows you to do this like every time you go for a busk, you practice going through fear and coming out the other side. And you do it on this rep, and it's a very safe thing to do, you know. I mean, you could say the same for going skydiving and bungee jumping, but I'm sure that's like more terrifying. Like busking on the other side of it isn't a near-death experience.
Depends where you busk, I guess.
I suppose, yeah. But like, then that has this compounding effect, and then you start to find yourself doing that in other areas of your life. So like you approach something that you'd usually feel fear in, and then you're like, well, because I do this busking, I can do it in this thing. And that's such a valuable lesson to get out of something. And that's like just another reason to have a go, you know? Damn.
You downstairs in that bar and heard your rolled up sleeves and your skull t-shirt. You say, what did you do with him today? You sniffed me out like I was Tanqueray. 'Cause you're my fella, my guy. Hand me a stellar and fly. Barrington, I'm nothing done. Or you damn man down like Roger Moore.
So with the wisdom you've accumulated and acquired over the years, is there anything that you wish you knew before you started, before that first Busk, before doing your first YouTube video? Is there one thing that would have made that all a lot easier or less painful? Or
I was thinking about this. I was thinking about it. I mean, in terms of busking, I don't know if there's necessarily anything that I wish I'd known earlier, because I mean the same for making videos and same for a lot of things in life. Like, it unfolds in the way it's supposed to, because you have to learn those lessons, you have to go through those challenges, and it's almost like if you never went through them, you wouldn't mean anything. Like, you wouldn't be able to cope with how things are now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it makes you appreciate how things are now. But like, there's a lesson in every challenge, and I think that, like, I mean, even videos, like when I first started YouTube and really like were taking it seriously, in my head it was like, in 1 year I'm gonna have 100,000 subscribers and I'm gonna be, you know, having thousands of views on every video. And then after 1 year you realize that isn't happening. But after 1 year you realize it's probably because, you know, when I first started YouTube I wasn't actually that good at it. I wasn't very good at editing, I wasn't very good at putting a story together, I wasn't very good at like conveying a message. And then like after a year I realized, like, weekly videos every week for a year, like, oh my god, I've improved a bit. And then after 2 years you're like, oh, I've improved even more. And then, you know, you've learned things along the way, and then eventually you sort of start to realize, and this is a lesson for life, that again, busking and doing anything creative and doing anything really teaches you, is like, it was never about what you wanted out of it, it was about doing the thing anyway. You know, like the process you go through to make something, whether it's the process of becoming a musician or a busker or learning an instrument or making videos or I don't know, whatever it wants to be, becoming a gardener, I don't know. Like, it's about doing the thing.
yeah,
And one of my favorite quotes, obviously keep showing up as like my kind of mantra, but one of my quotes that I kind of really live by is, the goal is the path. And it's the idea that, like, I mean, you said it when we were talking earlier for my video, like, the goal, it's good to have goals that you're getting, you know, it's good to say, I want a YouTube channel with 100,000 subscribers. The only reason it's good though is because it puts you on the path. And then when you're on the path, you suddenly realize that the goal isn't really to get 100,000 subscribers. The goal is just to walk the path. Because it's the path that teaches you all these things. It's the path that gives you all the experiences. It's there, and that's why you do it. Like, that's the point. Like, that's the whole point. And yeah,
it's very much that. And the book we were talking about earlier, The Obstacle is the Way, is exactly that concept as well. It's like, it's not a thing to be avoided.
Yeah,
it is exactly that.
Yeah, you're
at the end of it was always the way it was going to happen.
Yep.
So what are we going to do here? We're going to just push through it. And like you said about getting to the end and not being actually equipped with everything that you need to do at the end.
Yeah, I actually think, like, I mean, it's hard to say, because I'm not someone that's had like a big viral moment or had like a, you know, everything I've ever done in my life, I've never felt like I've been somebody that had this sudden growth moment. Everything I've ever done has been like a slow burn. But I actually think And, you know, so I don't talk from experience of the other side, but I actually think that's a better way to go, because I can see how, you know, if in my first year of YouTube, if one of those videos had gone viral, I would not be equipped. I would not have been equipped to like cope with that. You know, like I wasn't in place, and I can see how, for when that does happen for people, like why that actually might end up being a negative thing in the long run.
Yeah.
And I think in anybody's journey, it's actually something to be grateful for if it is a slow burn, and it is like a thing that takes time to progress. And I actually think that's better.
Sweet reunion, Jamaica and Spain. We're like happy we're again. I'm in the dark, open up on the sea. Nearly got lit as I saw my feet. Then you notice the cabin burns. My stomach drops, my guts churn. You shrug, and it's the worst to truly start up.
You know, and it's even like you say, like, you know, when you start a YouTube channel or something, you might think, oh, I want 100,000 subscribers. But you could have 100,000 subscribers who couldn't care less who you are, or be like, or have been affected by anything you've ever done.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, I'm at a point with my YouTube channel where, like, even today, like, I've had 2 people run up to me and be like, hey, who, like, I know who you are. And but it's like, they're real people doing real things. And, you know, like, dude we met, he's a busker, and you have like a real connection with people. And then when you really boil down what the internet really is, like, it's not real life. So, like, the idea of having something that, like, does come through in real life too, that's the greatest reward. Like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have, like, asked for anything better, to be honest. I'm very, very grateful to be, you know, I'm very, very grateful that my journey has been like this kind of way of obstacles and just facing them head on. And I guess that's why I come back to, like, the goal is the path. It's like, I just want to keep doing that, keep walking that path, you know that that's where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the path is the goal, the journey is the goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true.
Exactly.
And there'll be some people watching this that are at step 1,
Yep.
right? And that's really what I want to help people with, is that first head.
Yeah.
Because that's the one you need help with, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
after
yeah.
that, you get supported by momentum. And
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fact that
for
you
sure.
are learning these micro skills,
For
you're all
sure.
developing, that make the next step a lot easier.
Yeah.
But that first one is literally impossible for some people.
Yeah.
So really all I want to do is try and have a platform there where people can go and just learn enough, you know,
Yeah.
and be inspired enough by chats with people like you to see that these things are possible. But
One thing I would say about starting out, I think that there's like 2 groups of people. There's people that find the very, very first step really hard, and they take that initial step, they never take that initial step because they're sort of like bounded by fear, and they can't like get over that hurdle. And for them, again, it's like, eat that metaphorical frog, just get out there, and you're gonna feel all of the things that you're worried about feeling, right up until the point where you actually start doing it. And then all of those feelings are gonna start fading away, and you're gonna go, why was I so scared? Like, I don't know why I was so, you know, like, when you go busking, like, I think the idea is that, like, this is gonna happen, and someone's gonna tell you off, you're gonna get asked to move, and people aren't gonna like it. And then when you actually start playing, you're like, you'll probably encounter lots of the opposite. It's like, people will like it.
Yeah.
But the other thing I think is, like, there's another group of people who are quite cool with that first step, but then everything else is where they lose momentum.
right.
And I even wrote about it in the book. Like, there's a book called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, who's like the PayPal guy. And I read that book and I was like, this is cool, but I actually think that 0 to 1 can be easier. When you start something, you go from nothing to something, and that can feel quite rewarding. It can feel like, okay, you're on something. But then you inevitably plateau. So, like, the graph goes whoop, and then it goes. And then that can be, I find, where a lot of people suddenly give up. And it's very true for things like YouTube, and it's very true even for, like, busking and music and gigging, you get your first couple of gigs and then suddenly you can't get any. And that's the bit where you have to keep showing up. That's the bit where you have to keep going. And the plateau sucks because suddenly you feel like you haven't got any momentum. And sometimes it can feel a bit like of a backward step. But I see so many people who want to be musicians or want a music career, and they'll do something like they'll start an Instagram and they'll post, 10 posts, and they'll get their, initial following, and they'll feel really good about it. And then because it hasn't gone anywhere in 6 months, they delete it and they start again. And it's almost like because they're addicted to that little push of the initial momentum. So like even you starting YouTube, like my advice is like 0 to 1. Yeah, there's fear and that's hard, and you have to get over that initial like talking to the camera's weird and initial like, am I really bringing this camera everywhere? But once you're over that initial hurdle, when you hit that plateau and nothing's really happening, that's when it has to be like, keep going, keep freaking going. Because like, it isn't pretty. No journey is like this straightforward, like beautiful scenic road you're driving down. It's, oh, I went down the wrong line. Oh, I'm going down a dirt road. This doesn't make any sense. Like, it's all this twists, turns, nothing makes sense. And even when you see like a polished product, or the amount of random stuff that happens to get it there. And then even for the person, like say you are watching somebody who seems quite established, or you're seeing a busker or a musician who's very established, like they probably feel like they're still in the chaos. You know what I mean? It never really feels like you've landed. And I think again, that comes back to that kind of notion that like the goal is the path, like because you're on the path and the path doesn't have this like moment. So what I would say for like people who are at 0 and they're feeling all that fear, damn man, like it's not easy, but it will be the greatest thing you ever do when you do just go for it. But then once you go for it, if you have intention to keep that ball rolling, when you hit the inevitable plateau, keep going. Don't give up and then in 6 months start again. Like just keep going. And there's going to be trials and tribulations, and there's going to be difficult things. There's going to, as a buskers, you're going to go through busks where you don't make anything and no one cared. Yeah. And you might have just done 3 months of magic, like 3 months of like 3-figure donations every day, and you're thinking, this is going to be great. This is my life forever. And then you hit that inevitable plateau and it's like, no, I thought I had so much like going for me, but the point is like, that's an obstacle, and that's, you just gotta keep pushing and keep going, and then you do find more momentum, and suddenly for 3 months you're having the best time ever, and then inevitably hit another plateau. And I think that's like a lesson I've learned over the last 5 years is like, don't let that plateau stop you. Like keep going, keep freaking showing up.
Well, hopefully there's some things in there that have inspired some people to take that first step, and also if you have taken that first step, to take the second, and if that second went badly, to take the third anyway.
Yeah.
To keep showing up.
Yeah.
The obstacle is the way, and many other mantras. So thanks for inspiring me. Thanks for inspiring these guys, I'm sure. It's been cool, man. Thanks,
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate it so much. Big up Southport.
So what was Southport actually like to busk in? It was good. It was cool. But what score does it get? The criteria for scoring are as follows. Number 1, cash money. Number 2, footfall. Number 3, plan Bs. What about when it inevitably rains? Number 4, vibes. Number 5, return desire. How badly do I want to go back? So, number 1, cash. We did 2 hours in the rain and made £38.38. And for a lot of that time, we were just chatting. We might have made more if we played consistently. But in the rain, that's not too bad. That's over 2 hours. So if you carried that on to 4 or 5 hours, you could be looking at a pretty decent sum there, to be fair. Number 2, football. It was busy, but it was just under that city busy, where it's actually a bit too busy. There's too much going on and you just blend in with the general noise. I feel like it was at the perfect level where there's, there's more than enough people there, but you're still a bit of a spectacle. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4. Number 3, Plan Bs. What happens when it rains? It did rain, and it rained hard for the first hour. There is loads of options. When you come out of the train station, there's a big, huge bit where you could set up a whole band and be undercover if you really wanted to. So I'm going to give that 5 out of 5 for Plan Bs because there's loads of options if it rains, which is really, really good in England. 4 vibes. Yeah, it was cool. We had some good interactions. People were nice. We got encored at the end, but we had to get off. So I'd say on the whole, the vibes were great. I would give the vibes a 4 out of 4. And number 5, my return desire. I'd love to go back. My return desire is strong. So I would say that is a 5, which gives us an average score of 4.4. That actually puts Southport in the lead, but Southport is only the 2nd town that I've actually scored. So Altrincham was on a 3.7 out of 5. Southport is on a 4.4 out of 5 and is the new leader of busking spots in the Northwest, according to my 2-spot chart. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like it if you like it, share it with someone else who might like it, subscribe if you're here for the journey, and drop a comment if you know of anywhere else in the Northwest that you think I should go and try. Let me know in the comments if you know of anywhere good. I'd appreciate that. Nice one. There's loads more videos coming up, so I will catch you in the next one. See you later.
Remember busking down on Brighton Beach, summer afternoon in the August heat. Oh man, we had to make it work. Oh no, the conversation really threw me